And as I said, Petersboro was going to be our next target. I'm Cali Jack. All aboard, welcome aboard. It's time for How Not to Game with Cali Jack, the gaming persona used by Typhoid Rex. And when I said it's time, I meant it's time. We've got to extend out our road network. But we've also got to start looking at some of these new cars that we've gotten, because there is a slew of new vehicles now available back over here. The Hayru tender and the Hayru itself, the Buffalo, the 2D1 Buffalo from Hayru. And that's a nice, powerful machine. And price-wise, not much more pricey than the Muscle Arm. The 230 is still in the mix at 82, and that's what we're using, and we need to consider upgrading rail to do it. But we cannot afford it. We're now at Calico 9 million total cash in the hole to get back to zero on bank balance, and 6.3 million just to get out of bankruptcy threat. Our reorganization stinks. We're running a negative 47% profit and loss margin. Oh. We should be being investigated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. If this was America. Then again, American companies, they just get creative with the bookkeeping. So it's time to see what we can do to begin rebuilding our lines and our setup. Let's do just that single bus run to try to alleviate some of the pressure. Or we could just put a second bus to get everybody back to Petersboro. And I think the second bus, far better option, especially as there's now longer buses. Our bus to Gas 2 was at 87 cents. For 3 cents more, we can carry, what is that? Oh my goodness, is that 24 more passengers? But he's only doing 40 kilometers an hour versus 44. Here, 4 more passengers and we lose a kilometer. This isn't looking good at all. The twin coach, savings 45 kilometers an hour. Still not a good option. But speed, being able to go back and forth faster and faster might be our option. And the Gas 3 may be that option. The KS45 and the KS69 just don't look like they're going to be good options. Great for in town, bad for the long road. But those passenger numbers, tough decision. 40, same. You know what? We're just going to launch him, put him on the Petersboro Power Bus, and go. While we're at it, we've got to figure out what this Line 1 bus is. And he's in Petersboro. That's the Petersboro bus. That's the Petersboro Core bus. Okay. Now he's got a name and we know which bus we're dealing with. All right. It is episode 39. Now, or 40, I'm not certain which. No, it's 39. I don't know. That's the way it goes sometimes. But with the corridor done, we can eliminate the sign for the corridor. Corridor realignment has ended. We are no longer on that original corridor. And over here, for Telford Coal Mine is going to be our next change out spot that we really desperately need to start working on. And I'm beginning to think that making Nightmare Junction bigger, relocating the sign to the center point on it on the south side might be a better option. Let's go ahead and turn the trees back on for a while because we could use some pretty time. Because this is now just get that bus going. And that's going to require road. And we're working in the desert part of our area. Now, one other thing we may want to look at is road speeds. What type of road is that? That is a gravel road. Only the PSA gets to put down gravel roads. Isn't that interesting? Well, we're going to do a cobblestone street. Cost difference about $1.80 a month. Not the greatest option, but also not our worst. Get this guy over here. Grab us a bridge. I want a 40-mile-an-hour bridge across the sky. 40 click an hour, sorry. Yeah, I know, us Americans. And there we go. Now we need to set up a couple of bus stops in our community here. Mailbox, bus stop, and post office box combo. Nice. That is something we didn't have in Pack 64. I like that. So how do I want to do this? I want to kind of make this what we got here. Very nice. And you know what? I just did something terribly wrong. Below that. Let us put the bus stop here, which expands our area. And we can see that through this. As you can see by that color change, you can see that tone change, that darkness change. That's going to get us what we need for what we're going to go after. We're not going to have the bus go into the desert station. But we are going to rename Desert Station. To Witch Rock Station. we're going to ask the town to rename itself to Witch Rock. With Ipswich in parentheses. To show that that's the old town. All right, go through all the town names and our buzzer stops, and we're going to call this Town Hall stop. And this one, Smith's Way stop, I will keep. We're just going to change Ipswich to Witch Rock. And then we're going to ask them to put a fancy rock someplace out here. And to do that, go to our list, change over to public service for a moment. And in his toolkit, somewhere I should have map editing tools. There we go. Boy. Buy house, rotate house, ground object builder. And we want, ignore climates for a minute. Yep, it's locked in on the climate. We are stuck with climate rock. So I can't put in a Witch Rock. We're just going to have to take and stay it. Go back to Cali. Close out that gravel road. Realize we had a break. Go back to our main dispatch, which is going to cost us a little bit of money. But you know what? This is going to be worth it. So, we're going to take and run a Praga between Petersboro and... Hey, that's not what I was telling you to do. I was telling you to tighten up. Move over here for a minute. So from Petersboro, we're going to also start with their city desert stop. And we're going to go to the town hall stop. Call it the stage line. Start him off. And then for in town, I'm going for the big savings. 84 cents a kilometer, he better be full. This guy, he's going to do what I need him to do in town, which is to go from the station to town hall to here and back. And we're calling that the Wheeler V bus. All right. We've achieved the one thing we really wanted to do. We're now how deep in the hole? Still 6.4 now. But August and only 87 in the hole. Looking at our monthlies, we're now back up to about 10 to 11 as a bottom, 6 as a top, 6.9, 6.9, 6.9. So call it 7 to 11 range per month. That is a much better one. Now, the bus dispatches are going to cost us a little bit of money. Oh well. I can live with a couple of hundred that'll generate a couple of hundred. And hopefully, down the road, at least maybe 1,000 in revenue. Why do I say that? Look at those bus routes. All black. All our bus routes, except for the two that are the new ones that are still on their way out, still haven't decided it, but they're all making money. All of them. That is our first good sign of the times. Sadly, because of where we chose to do our curves, we didn't get the diagonals. We could do a diagonal here, but I'm not going to because the city's going to grow into this. We know that. And I'd prefer to keep a city on a grid than to have it on a diagonal section anywhere. That and the diagonals coming into a different type of street look weird. We're looking pretty good as far as our community goes. We could improve our lives a lot more by doing the upgrade on this road, but that gravel road's actually faster than our cobblestone road. So I'm not going to worry. I'm going to wait and see how long it takes before we get a gravel road that lets us do 55 clicks instead of 50 or 40, which is the one we chose. PSA sometimes can be useful. Now, over at the West Choke, I'm looking at that weird, because of the slopage, tractions we've got, and that's going to be our next thing to fix, but I think I'll just leave it. We're going to call that the split grade. So with everything all set up now, we are looking a little bit better, hopefully, or I am looking a little bit better to the board of whatever I have to answer to, which is probably going to be, at this rate, this much in the hole. Yeah. They're going to drop the world government on me. They're going to drop the Simutrans government on me. But it's time to consider next episode in 128 of doing something at long last for our long forsaken lines over here, run by the folks here at inland valley and coastal. And where Chesterfield's made it to the coast. And what do we got here? Tourist attraction windmill. Okay. And the wooden church. Church gets us 90. The windmill 20. So there's 110. We might want to consider building a little tourist boat that goes up and down with IVTC. We'll see. IVCT, I should say. IVCT. IVCT. Yeah, it's been a long day. I'm Kelly Jack, and I know you're going to have a better night than I'm going to have.